The growing calls across the nation to defund the police.
To end policing as we know it.
Off the charts violence in New York City. 11 people shot in just 8 hours on Sunday.
This is about the police officers who every single day put on that uniform and they run towards danger when we run away from it.
Oh, my friends. Guns up. Giddy up. This is the Failure to Stop podcast, and boy, oh boy, do we have a fun, a thrilling, titillizing, or is it tantalizing? Is it is it titillating? Titillating? Tantalizing?
How overweight you are.
What?
Could be tantalizing, but if you're a little chubby, it's titillizing.
There you go. I like it. Middleizing? Anyway, whatever. Welcome to the Failure to Stop podcast. Boobalizing. Gaboobalizing.
That sounds like you're ready to mobilize, but it's going to get a whole bunch of chubby dudes with some man boobs. We're mobilizing.
We're mobilizing.
We need 300-pound massive tits over here now. We're mobilizing.
If you can't tell, we're going to have some fun today. Myself, Eric Tanzi, official. Not just any Eric Tanzi. Eric Tanzi, official, the brains behind this whole operation is here.
I wouldn't say that, but if I'm the brains, then we're all fucked.
You're the moob of this. You're the
moob.
I mobilize things.
He mobilizes this entire podcast, and of course, the man that's been suspended from his job more times than a prisoner in North Korea. I don't know if that's a thing. Angry cops in the house,
AKA the not so handsome Mike the cop.
dude. It's funny.
We look the same. Am I looking at you right now? I think I'm looking at you right now.
I thought I was looking at me. Me,
Identical.
you, me, you,
me, you.
Why's my nose? Yeah.
So when they asked me to do this show, and they were like, "Do you know who Mike the Cop is?" I was like, "Of course, everybody knows who Mike the Cop is. Every cop in the country." And they were like, "Oh yeah, well, we thought you guys would be great together." And I was like, "Man, I love it. Like when he rages, and he was like a drill sergeant too, right?" And they were like, "No." And I was like, "Yeah, he gets like super mad and does all the funny videos." And they're like, "I don't know if you're talking about the right guy."
I think it was a couple weeks ago when I sent you that text, Rich, where I was like, somebody said, "I love it when you go like into drill sergeant mode or something like that." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I've never had that mode. That mode is not enabled on me. I don't have it."
when I first hung out with Brennan Herrera and I think Donut operator, Brennan and I were talking. He's just like, "Yeah, man, I love the videos. Like, watch stuff. It's like really cool, blah, breakdowns." And then hours later, he like said something else, and I looked at him and I go, "You think you think I'm Mike the Cop?" He's like, I'm like, "No, man, I'm not Mike. I'm different." But thank you for noticing another. You know what? When another white bald man gets recognized for something positive in this world, all other white bald men just come together and we accept that accountability and that praise as one.
Man, you and I go back to there was some you've had a few situations.
It's just Google me.
So I definitely had people like we have been confused literally from the very beginning. Not only because I think our content has, especially early on, was very, very similar.
Yeah.
You know, two bald white cops ranting on the internet about whatever, and
doing weird skits.
You had called me one time and says, "Hey, whatever, we'll talk to the news." You know, and so I talked to some reporter and went to bat for you, you know, and then it was like all of a sudden there's articles on the internet that I am the cop that was suspended, and it was like, what? I'm like, what? This is so crazy. So, yeah, welcome to the show, man. Thanks for taking time to hop on here with us. I was
going to edit some videos and do something productive, but I figured I'd bullshit with two guys on the internet for the next hour and a half.
Jimmy says it's like two Joe Rogans without TRT. It's
or DMT.
I'm sans DMT at the moment. You know, I need to explore. But so guys, we're going to talk today in length about the concept of demilitarizing the police. I'm the odd man out here. I have no military experience. These other two fine gentlemen have or continue to serve our fine country in that capacity one way or the other. I have not done that, but so I'm sure I'll have some questions, especially as it relates to training issues. We've had some people even recently saying that all cops should have Navy SEAL training, like to be ready for their job. So it's like there's some extremes.
There's still be mad if we shoot somebody.
Totally cool.
They were like, oh, this officer shot this guy with a gun for no reason after Navy SEAL training. And they're like, well, now we're just making them too militarized. Like,
yeah. Then you've got the other side of the extreme that goes to like, we should all basically be Barney Fife, unarmed community operators. You know, that's the key to saving this nation is a police that basically just run around hugging people or whatever. That there's these extremes. So we'll talk about everything in between. There are units for that now in Fort Worth. They actually have a community unit now, an unarmed academy and everything. So yeah, we'll talk about some of that stuff. But before that, we have obviously got a few things that we want to cover. I want to say thank you to everyone who has last week on the show, we said we wanted to hit 1,000 ratings on iTunes. The Wolfpack united, they came together, and we jumped like a lot, like a couple hundred. We didn't hit 1,000, but guys, we really appreciate you dropping all those ratings and reviews on iTunes.
It moved us up on the charts. We dropped into the top 200 again.
So you're saying that they failed? Trash.
I'm
Trash
saying
people.
that
Get better.
I'm giving a
Get better.
I'm giving a
you had
participation
job,
award.
and you failed at it. This is the standard. This is where you are right now. Let's bring it up here. Okay. Fucking A.
Yeah, you know what? That's what when the outro for the show is we're gonna have you drill sergeant the hell out of the Wolfpack, all the listeners to the show, and tell them how to be better followers and subscribers to the show. So
I don't even do that to my fucking fans.
well, I'm giving you permission to unleash hell on ours on the Wolfpack. We need to get these guys squared away. Yeah. But there's been some things happen. I want to highlight some of the reviews. Andy, do we have those ready to put on the screen? So I guys want to say thanks to the people that are reviewing the show or actually writing a review. Chemistry, the voice fan says 5 stars. Not sure if Mike and Tangi just naturally have that Regis and Kathy chemistry, or if it is, this is old school when they reference Kathy and not Kelly. And Regis is dead.
So one of them is an old senile fart, and the other one is hammered off of wine and pills.
Regis is dead, dude.
That's us.
No, he's going to be reanimated.
He's like Disney. Him and Disney are going to come back at the same time, and Michael Jackson. Exactly. Regis and Kathy chemistry orphan has been built off countless rounds of pin the tail on the donkey style blindfolded docking. Either way, this is a judgment-free zone, so it doesn't matter. These two 100% hit the nail on the guest. Or on the guest. Well, we hit the nail on the guest. On the head. 52.6% of the time. Keep it up. Guns up, giddy up, boys, or preferred pronouns. JMac1039. Thanks for that review.
Thank you.
Seducer, scintillating. We said titillating. This is scintillating listening. For the record, I've never been arrested, handcuffed, and subjected to a body cavity search. But if Eric and Mike could pull that off, they might just find a 6th star for the reviews. Great show and worthy addition to the Tetherball stable. Thank you.
Is that 6 star in reference to your golden starfish?
I think so. It's got an extra, if you cut one off, another one grows. Great podcast, Johnny Ox says. In a world where cops are public enemy number 1, this show is a great insight into the humanity behind the badge. Keep it up, guys. We will do our best. We won't stop. Failure to stop. Can't stop. Won't stop. C-Jack, thank you. I'm a 15-year-old. Whoa, 15. I need more coffee or bourbon, one of the two.
It's Regis, people. He's in here. He's going insane.
I don't know what to do. I'm 15-year Elio. I'm a podcast junkie, and I absolutely love Failure to Stop. My only complaint is I wish it was a daily podcast. Keep up the great work, fellas. You are keeping so many of us motivated. Hashtag WV. Does that mean West Virginia? West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home.
Yeah, or he's a dyslexic Volkswagen fan.
He's German. I'm dyslexic.
I can't say Fahrway the right way. Oh, no.
All right, Tansy.
I really like this podcast. Oh.
Failure to stop. I can't stop. I won't stop. WV.
9 stop.
9 stop. Guns up, giddy up. Tansy, you got some mail time items for us.
Where's Nakatomi Plaza? We're missing out.
Does Nakatomi Plaza have a cafeteria?
Jesus.
Oh, my God.
Yes, mail call. Hey, how do you do mail call for drill? I know, like, when I was in the Army, there was always like a mail call. How do you do it as a drill sergeant when you...
That was it. You just sound off a mail call, and they'd say mail call, and they'd...
Sound it off. I want to hear it. I want to hear you do the mail call.
Mail call! And then they would just go...
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
I love it. Do you guys really read the mail before you give it to the privates?
So there's two things. One, if it's a package, so we keep it separately than all the letters, and we dish out all the letters first, but we make them open up all the mail in front of us in case there's contraband, and we'll feel the letters. We can't open up their mail, but we can have them open it up in front of us. So we'll feel the letters, and if there's like a bunch of wadded up paper or probably photos, and we'll have them open it up in front of us. And then the packages, they open up in front of us, and then they don't get any of the shit in there.
Right. Do you get, because like after I got out of basic training, my good friend went to basic training, and I just kept sending packages full of shit to get him in trouble.
Oh yeah. You're a good friend.
Yeah. I love doing that. And I sent like Playgirl magazine, which was embarrassing on my part because I actually had to go buy a Playgirl, which was weird to do.
That's where to find them. The commitment to the prank right there.
But yes, and then like when he went to AIT, I would send him like just pictures, like cutouts of grilled cheese sandwiches or like all the things that he wasn't getting. But did you get a lot of nudie pictures that you? See if girlfriends and things.
No, because we tell them like right off the rip, like if you send some nudie shit like that ain't gonna fly. Which is, I mean, I don't know.
They still don't try. Like I was getting nudies.
Nah, we would.
Why are
They'll
you saying
get like
nudies. That's so gay.
It's because it's the army, dude.
Yeah, just
the
a quick
army
nudie
is
pic. I don't know.
Little nudie.
Hey, listen, civilian. All right, let's just check your fucking tone. You brought two dummies on this
Sir,
podcast.
do I have any nudies in my mail?
Oh my god, when you say it like that, you sound
exactly what it sounds like in my head when I hear something
like that. You're gonna
wait until you hear what they call their
nudie.
Wait until you hear what they call their buddies. Like I always thought that was the gayest thing ever. Battle buddy. Like we couldn't have come up with a cool thing like war brother or something like that. Like hey, grab your war brother. Grab your war brother. And
he's a warm-hearted sergeant that loves me till the end. Oh gosh.
I like the term battle buddies.
Do you really?
Drill sergeants, yeah, we call each other battles all the time. We say, hey,
well, I know that. I think it's the gayest thing ever.
You just get used to it. It's like one of those crutch words that you have to say. It's like frickin' instead of fuck, or gosh dang instead of goldern.
But no part of you ever wishes that it was...
Private, you might have some nudies in this package here.
Goldern, Private, how many freaking nudies you got in this thing? See, it doesn't sound that bad when you say it like that.
Well, I've got mail call here. We got a first package coming in from all the way from the Sunshine State of California. And this comes from Nick Rammer. Nick Rammer. And he is with the Mental Health Toolkit Incorporated. Mike's a mental health toolkit. But this is mhtk.org. mhtk.org. And what they do is they give out these rad bags for kids with autism. If you open up the bag, it's a whole mental health toolkit. You got a chem light, you got some sensory items. If you're on YouTube, you can follow us, smash that like button. But here's like some little sensory dolls, a teddy bear, bottle of water, a tourniquet, some cookies. But anyway, they raise money. There's a coin, there's a card on how to deal with different mental health behavior issues.
Figure there's enough sensations going on while they're watching me punch their dad in the face.
Really cool though. And if you want to donate money to mhtk.org, they are trying to get every police officer in the country one of these mental health toolkits to help better work with mentally challenged folks. Next up, we have Raycon. I just lost my computer and my phone's ringing. But Raycon, our newest sponsor, sent the old earbuds in. Did you get some of these, Mike?
Yeah, I used them when I was working out a couple days ago.
I went on a 5-mile run with them.
You're right. They have a loud bass boom.
Great bass. So, and then we've got, I don't know, did you get one of these? Cardo Max, another sponsor that's coming on in a month. They sent a cool little shaker and some immune boosters and some energy things. So that was really special. But anyway, that's what I've got right now for mail call.
Giddy up. Oh, and by the way,
thanks, Nick Rammer.
I'm wearing failuretostop.com. If you want to merch, it's live now. This shirt was denied by Facebook to promote.
That's the one I designed.
Violates their policies.
That sure does.
I'm not sure which word in this could possibly trigger anyone at Kuckerberg land.
It prevents the groupthink.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so if you want the Guns Up Giddy Up shirt that Tansy's wearing, go fund police, only body cams. I don't know. We've got a few stupid pieces of merch out there at failuretostop.com. Get yours and then sell it on eBay in 2 weeks when it's worth $10,000. Because our show's going to be shut down and then we'll be relics and all the merch will be worth a lot of money. Hair regrowth supplement sponsors, maybe. Yeah. All right. So before we dive in, I know that people are like, get to the topic. But we've got a few things going on in the news, and I'm sure that Angry Cops will have some things to say about this. But Eric, what the Hump Day hero was our dispatcher out of Chicago who handled obviously a tragic situation with some pretty impressive command presence, for a dispatcher. I've heard dispatchers respond to officer down calls, and I've heard them do it very, very well. I've never heard someone step in and be as in charge, I guess, of the scenario as he was. So why don't you break that down for us?
Well, I think he's obviously he's got a lot of experience under his belt. I think close to 20 years of experience.
Dang.
But no, I mean, really, if I'm bleeding out in the back of your cop car and I hear this guy on the radio, like I think I would instantly feel a little bit better. I know that I've been in some really crazy situations as a cop, and you have two types of dispatchers, ones that are like super empathetic and care and have like a great tone and are trying to help. I guess you have three types. Then you have an asshole, and then you always got the one that just is silent, right? And then you've got a whole bunch of cops going crazy on the radio. And I think in this case, as I started listening to the audio, what I thought was going to happen were that the cops were going to take over the radio and everybody was going to step on each other. But this guy did a great job. And you know, as police officers, one of the biggest things is, hey, I'm in a foot chase, and then everybody's like, I'm coming, I'm going here, I'm going. Like, everybody knows you're fucking coming. Right? Yeah. Like, what else are you going to do? You're going to fucking sit at Chick-fil-A the rest of the day? Like, we all know you're coming. You don't need to put that on the radio. And this guy did a great job of saying, like, hey, don't step on my air. We know you're coming. Let me get units to this intersection, to that intersection. This is the trauma unit that you guys are going to go to. He was also coordinating, a perimeter, a suspect perimeter. He was calling out where the railroad tracks were. And it's like he knew that they were going to go to the railroad tracks. It's like he knew.
Yeah. They caught both of them. So
I know, but it's always funny. Yeah, it's just like it's every
tried
city
to break in.
Yeah.
And you know what? And there again, like over theatrics, she was ridiculous. I watched her video. That was, whatever. I don't even want to get. That's a whole nother episode.
Yeah, turds are gonna turd, man.
But I know you teach 9-line medevac. They still do that. I mean, I've been on since 2010. And I remember 2005, 2006, when they kind of first started doing the 9-line medevac cards and everybody had one in their pocket and the whole 9 yards. And I've heard some really bad ones on the radio. You guys get a lot of, is that hard to teach these days? The 9-line medevac? Yeah. Actually, I mean, people doing it calmly, doing it correctly on the radio without sounding like.
We don't give them a radio. No, the privates pick up like their hand or a rock or a branch, and then they'll call it in to me, who's standing right there. And then I'll be like, oh, that's trash. We'll come back later because you read this wrong. We'll come back in 10 minutes. And then they'll learn for about 5 or 10 minutes until they get sweaty. And then the helicopter will be back in the area and they'll do the 9-line again.
Yeah.
So that's how I do it. That's how a lot of people do it.
Okay. All right. Well, this guy did an exceptional job. So Keith Thornton, thank you for being our failure to stop hump day hero. Really, man, there are people that are good at their jobs and there are people who are masters of their craft. And you, sir, are a master of your craft. And all of his interviews on the news were just, I mean, golly, dude, this guy's character is par one. I mean, he said everything that a hero should say. Just noble character, man. And I'm so glad. And that's what we look for in Hump Day Hero, is just that super extraordinary human being. It's not like this guy just did a good job on the radio. It sounds like this guy is just a real great human being and really loves his job. And you could tell that from his empathetic tone and how much he cared and how much he prepared. And one of the things I did see that I was a little bit bummed about was somebody was like, well, this guy, it sounds like he's been waiting for that moment his whole life. This was his time to shine and he took over the radio and this was all for like, are you serious? Like, I want this to be what he trains for his whole life, so that when the shittiest thing ever happens, that at least we have one dude that knows exactly what he's going to say and how he's going to say it. So I'm all in on that.
Yeah. And that led to, at the hospital, the family of the officers that were taken to the hospital had specifically requested that they did not want the mayor. Let's see.
Oh, we got a shirt. We got a shirt with that mayor. Oh, there she is. God, she makes me soft.
Oh my gosh, she looks like a horn toad.
Yeah, she pees on you when you touch her too, just like a toad.
Oh my God, I feel like just she poisons you. Layer of slime when you shake her hand, and just
So they
what happened to her eyebrows?
I don't know.
She's got the craziest looking. I'm like Oprah, or not Oprah. Who's the black female comedian?
Wanda Sykes.
Wanda Sykes.
Not Wanda. Before Wanda.
Before Wanda.
Oh,
before
Whoopi
Wanda
Goldberg.
Sykes.
Whoopi
Goldberg. Thank you. Whoopi Goldberg shaves her eyebrows off, and she looks like somewhat normal. This woman has got like some sort of reptilian scales, like here, that make her just.
Yeah, she was birthed by an alien.
If anybody has like a legitimate argument for lizard people taking over people in government, she's the poster child.
Yeah, every day I wake up and I feel like Alex Jones is more sane.
Like the frogs were turned gay, and then they somehow learned science, and then made offspring, and then she grew out of it as like a
Lightfoot
weird...
was raised in a lab from the DNA of 2 gay frogs, and then released into Chicago to lead it. I don't know.
She is the gay frog prodigy. Come here to save us.
The savior of Chicago. It's the gay frog lab prodigy. I don't know, man. So
we need a frog cult shirt with just a frog and then her face on the
like. Have you ever noticed that she's never under a direct light when it's dark outside?
I'm not saying she's
bugs.
a frog raised in a lab, but I am saying I've never seen her under a heat lamp at the same time as a press conference.
Just saying, she's never said nothing good about turtles.
Yeah.
And I know the beef between frogs and turtles. Let me tell you what, Mike.
Runs deep. Deep. Well, all of the officers, as though they knew she was coming, they knew that the family had requested that she didn't show up, and they, in unison, much akin to, I think, like a de Blasio situation in the past too, the officers all turned their back on her, and kudos to those guys, stepping up and saying, like, you know what, screw you, we don't want you here. It's your ideology, it's your policies, it's your positions that lead to this kind of environment where crime is running absolutely out of control, that you're part of the problem. We don't want you here. And then when she did show up, she didn't blame the actual perpetrator, she blamed guns, right? So Lightfoot is back in the news, and it's not good, in my opinion.
The fact that she came at it hard with just straight politics on her little speech, talking about that this is the guns to blame and it's not the gentlemen to blame.
Oh, right.
Killed her. I mean, God, what a slap in the fucking face to all the officers around. I don't know, man. She just all around, she's not a good human. Yeah.
So Lightfoot still making people soft since when did she become mayor? I don't know how long she's been there.
I mean, I was talking to a guy in Chicago, and he lives right down the street from her, and he says it's awful that the amount of protection that she has right now, which is very funny because she's all about this defunding of the police, but now she's refunding the police. She's pissing people off on both sides. I don't see her getting reelected at this point.
Yeah, we'll see, man, because if we ever needed a pendulum swing in this country, it's right about yesterday. So
they're gonna lose her, and they just lost Cuomo, and then they
not yet. 10 more days.
The
Italian stallion, baby.
Lester, I'm Italian. That's all. What bada boom, bada bing. I touch a butt here and there. What everybody does that. Really, I do it because I love people. I do it to men. I do it to women. I do it to kids. I do it to old people. I touch them. I love it.
I can't say the jokes that I want to say because I'm still currently employed.
Yes, you can. You can.
No,
you can say whatever you want.
No, I can't.
Not in his state right now.
New York Army National Guard.
Oh, that's right. You still have it.
Kind of in charge of me for the next 7 days. So, no, I can't. And I got to be careful about making any Joe Biden jokes because he's still in charge of me.
You should tell me that you do not approve of these jokes and cover yourself real quick.
These jokes, not stated by myself, do not represent the DOD or the Department of the Army.
There you go.
Do they give you a lot of shit for having all your stuff on social webs?
Yes.
Oh, man. What's it like having a real career?
Dude, you know what? It's weird, man. Dude, it's weird. It's so weird doing the social media thing because people can't separate it, right? Let me give you an example. Robin Williams was not an actual alien that would go nanu, okay? He was an actor. So when he was on the television show Mork and Mindy, he was Mork, a character.
Okay.
And then when he walked out into the world, he was Robin Williams, a normal person. But for some reason, the world, including my employers, don't seem to understand that I'm a guy reading the news and creating sketch comedy.
Yeah.
As, I don't know, like a reporter or a comedian, right? And then when the camera's off, when this entertainment is over, or infotainment, whatever you want to call it, is over, I'm I can then be the normal thing. It's a character. And so I see a battle coming up soon.
Are you saying that Demi Moore is not really a Navy SEAL?
I'm just saying that I'm not gonna lie. She's the reason why I like CrossFit bodies. That movie, it's funny that you brought that up.
Come on.
That movie changed me as a man.
CrossFit didn't
I love
even
that movie.
exist then.
When I went to see her, like all I wanted to do was say, suck my dick. And I never got that chance. Because that's not how Sear really was.
When she was doing pull-ups on like the overturned barracks bed and
Dude,
like
listen.
it showed like her back ripped,
Look,
I was like, oh.
I stayed in that barracks. That
Yeah.
barracks. I stayed in that barracks that was on Kingsley Lake in Florida.
Did you
Believe it or
lick
not,
the
it was not in
sweat off of
California.
the ground? I would.
And the shower, you know, like the round shower head.
Yeah.
I showered in there. She wasn't there, but I masturbated as if she would have been there.
Oh my gosh,
would've.
this
But,
is taking a turn.
But yes, no, I've been in those barracks. I've been on the camp that they shot that movie, and I saw where she allegedly did, where the helicopter lands in the field. So I was there. I've been there. So I'm pretty much a Navy SEAL now.
Yeah, once I saw her doing those pull-ups, I was
Me
like,
too.
I need to find women like that. And then CrossFit came around, and I was like, they have women like that. And I got very excited.
I,
many
I love it. I see you on the beach, deadlifting women and clean and snatching women or whatever it is that you're doing on Instagram.
Well, she had a clean.
So another item in the news this week was a viral video that I got so many messages about it. I ignored them all. So if you sent them to me, I'm not really that sorry, but I saw them. I just didn't watch any of the video. And I know, Eric, you talked to a few people that sent us messages, and you even talked to some doctors. But this viral video of a San Diego County Sheriff deputy that I believe he was a trainee. I believe he's on FTO with this fentanyl overdose. Now, to set the scene for this story in general, I had one training when Narcan became a thing. I also never pulled Narcan out of the back of the patrol car because I refused to administer it. And I can say that now because I don't work for the department. So screw you.
What an asshole.
So the whole fentanyl thing. Anyway, we had a lady come in from, I work in Metro Detroit. Wayne County is Detroit is where the Third Circuit Court is. Wayne County is Detroit is the county seat or whatever. So Wayne County sends in a medical person or whatever to talk about overdose and the heroin epidemic, right? Like all that stuff was going on. We were getting like, I don't know, multiple ODs a day on bad heroin. And it was a thing, right? And they explained it to us like, okay, here's normal heroin and here's heroin laced with fentanyl. And they basically said, I can't remember the exact, milligrams or doses, said like essentially fentanyl is what could get an elephant high, right? Like if you injected an elephant, it would make the elephant high, like a human. That's how potent it is. So we're basically like, it's 50 times as strong when you're putting it in your body. And that, again, these are round numbers, but they freaked us out about fentanyl. Right? Like you got to have gloves on, you got to have this. Now I'm hearing from doctors and people reaching out saying everything you're learning about fentanyl is wrong. If not some people are saying it's a lie. You cannot OD by just touching fentanyl or by just fentanyl being in the air. You can't OD. So what did you discover about this? Did you guys see this? I don't know.
One of those things where it's like you've been taught something for your whole life and you've believed it in your whole career. And so now that when I started doing the research, it was like I went through this like moment where I was just so disappointed in myself for believing this stuff and falling for this stuff that now I feel lied to. And I went through all the stages, right? Anger, depression, like all the things while researching this.
Denial?
But anyway, denial, the whole
Acceptance.
9 yards. Because it's all bullshit, dude.
I just don't believe anything that anybody tells me anymore.
Dude, you cannot. Like,
how naive are you? We just believe everything that people tell us that they're trying to teach us? Absolutely not.
Rich, there's a video on the internet. There's a video on the internet. It's true.
Oh, it must be true.
They gave me pamphlets. They gave me pamphlets. You know, like when the army gives you a pamphlet, it's important at that point. Like when you get like you know that you shouldn't rape people, but when the military gives you a flyer that talks about like the percentage of people getting raped, then it's a real thing. Then you're like, dude, now I know I shouldn't rape people because they just gave me this flyer. But I mean, the
It's
departments gave
changed
you
so many
flyers.
people.
So not a raper.
Yeah, right.
I
So,
read it in a pamphlet.
they gave me a flyer and it says that like everybody's raping everybody, so I shouldn't do it. But anyway, they
Well, if everybody's
so
doing it, then shouldn't we do it?
They raping everybody out there.
I start calling these doctors and I'm like, hey, what's up with fentanyl? Like, if you touch it, do you die? And they're like, absolutely not. Look, and what I've learned, and we're gonna do a whole show, not a whole show, but we're gonna get some actually doctors on here in the next week to really talk about it. But I mean, the government spent millions.
I'm not qualified to speak on medical advice.
I am not either. But
I mean,
one of the
I'll try
doctors
it.
said something interesting to me. He said that the government spent millions of dollars on coming up with a patch to get fentanyl to get into your skin to make it work as a patch, so they didn't have to do it intravenously. And he's like, if it took them millions of dollars to figure out how to get it into your skin, you think that just some like bullshit car fentanyl on the road is just going to seep into your skin and kill you? And really, the only case of like airborne fentanyl ODing and killing people was that the Russians used it in the early 2000s to try to take down a hostage, a guy that was taking some people hostage, and they
like
put,
shooting
like,
them with a tranquilizer dart.
Yeah, they tried to airburst fentanyl into the air to try to get them to like fall asleep. Yeah, and ended up killing 100 people.
I just see like Vladimir
they
Putin
all
with, like,
OD'd
this
in-
tube, like shooting the car fentanyl dart.
That story is actually like fucked up, but kind of cool because they put it through like the air vents, like the air conditioning heating system. And everybody started passing out. And then when they went in there to be like, cool, everybody's asleep because they're overdosing from fentanyl. And they didn't have enough Narcan to revive everybody. And so everybody died in the hostage situation.
All the hostages died?
Yeah, they killed everybody. That's the Russian way, man.
Everybody.
Problem solved.
Yep. Problem stay solved. Coming in.
If they die, they die.
They die.
So, but the
This
people
will
that went
teach
in
you
to
to be
rescue
hostage.
Real Russians never become hostage.
You fight people who come in and take after you with guns. While you sit there like, bitch.
KGB will wait for no one. It's true.
So the people that went in there to rescue them though didn't die. So just because that there's Narcan in the air, I mean not Narcan, but fentanyl in the air. So what does that mean for this officer? Was he faking it? Was he lying? Were all the officers for the last 15 years lying? And the answer to that is no. I was also doing a little bit of research, and I came across some research on the nocebo effect, which is the opposite of the placebo effect, which is actually kind of crazy because within like 10 years ago, everybody thought placebo and nocebo was more of something like voodoo. But there was a study, and where it came real was these neuroscientists put together an antidepressant. And so they were testing this antidepressant, but they had to test these people first with a fake antidepressant to see how they reacted to a fake antidepressant, and then they were going to give them the real one. Well, one of the kids during the study was like, fuck this world. And he took 29 of the antidepressants and had an OD. And they get him to the hospital, and they're like, dude, he could not have OD'd because this is not a real drug. This is all fake. But his blood pressure had dropped. His organs were shutting down. And they realized that this, that the doctors had realized that this was not a real drug that he had been given from this study. And so they ended up just like telling the guy, hey, this shit's not real, bro. This is in your head. There is nothing in your system. The toxicology report is clean. And then like in minutes, his blood pressure came back up. His organs started reacting. And he was coming out of this almost comatose state. So the nocebo effect is just as dangerous.
If you believe it.
Right. If you believe it, it can happen. And now they're starting to figure out that a lot of these COVID symptoms, believe it or not, there's actually some studies that people are so freaked out about COVID that they are
experiencing symptoms, shortness of breath.
The symptoms are getting a lot
tightness
worse.
in the chest, can't walk upstairs. That's just your weight.
Right. But if you're afraid to die, then you die.
When WebMD came out and everybody was like Googling their symptoms every day and everybody had cancer or leukemia.
I could have a headache or I could be dying today.
A brain tumor. It's a brain tumor.
So they're thinking that because the cops have been brainwashed, literally, that your brain is convinced that there are symptoms that come from fentanyl, that when you actually come in touch with it, your brain has already made the decision of what's going to happen. And like I said, I don't want to get into it right now, but there is a great neuroscientist that actually put out this whole study where, and he's got cancer patients that are going through these things that they're having real symptoms, like real diarrhea, real nasal congestions, real like things that you can see physically, even though
diarrhea is definitely real, bud.
It is, but they got it because
Don't be a victim.
They got it because they were told that it was going to be one of the main they gave him a fake drug and they said like, hey, you might experience diarrhea.
You know,
a big group
dude,
of them
people
did,
take
even
that
though
so
it was
seriously.
fake.
Like you could be like, if you have plans, like you're invited to plans, it's, you know, and you kind of want to get out of them. If you say like, man, I'm feeling under the weather, like people be like, no, it's fine. You know, just come on out. Like it's fine. I'm sure you're fine. No, I got really bad diarrhea. Oh, bro. Yeah. Stay home, man. I totally get it. Like it'll get you out of anything.
Guys, I think that we're missing on a really important topic here, and that is the superhero powers that some of these people have in order to kill themselves with their own brain power.
Yeah.
Why isn't this person in MK Ultra with like the CIA learning how to like transform his body into some sort of lizard woman? Oh my God.
It's come full circle.
Maybe it has already happened. Which another thing popped into my head while you guys were talking about like the voodoo doll thing. We need a Lightfoot voodoo doll in the shop. So Bolstered Media, if you are watching, Alex, if you're watching or listening, please get us a Lightfoot voodoo doll for decorative purposes only, not actual use.
Yeah, you'd have to like go into her trash can and get her hair out, you know. And
oh my God.
Put it
we haven't
on
been
there.
canceled already.
Doesn't somebody live right by her that could possibly? Never mind.
We've said too much. We've said too much.
But you remember when all those witches put a curse on Donald Trump? So I mean, it's totally fair game.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. All right, so guys, before we jump into the demilitarization topic, Tansy, hit us with that ghost bed, the magic of ghost bed, and one of these days, all three of us will sit or lay for a photo on a ghost bed. It's going to happen.
Bring the toad.
Where do you live? Where do you live?
My mind is going to make it happen.
I stay in Buffalo, New York.
Oh, so you're not even close to Austin because we're going to be in Austin in a few months.
No,
and we could have all laid on a ghost bed there.
Yeah, that's a little far. You've been hanging out. You've been hanging out in Austin. I see you on
San Antonio. I've been going down to San Antonio.
Oh, San Antonio. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
close enough. Guys. Hour and a half, 2 hours.
But yeah, they have we could have all laid on.
I hear you talking shit about me on Free Range American. I hear it.
I said nice things about you, sir. You watch your tone. Coming at me all wrong. Oh, a couple compliments on another podcast, and all of a sudden you're a big tough guy. Oh, okay.
Evan, the last time I talked to Evan, he said, I think I even called him Mike the Cop in the hallway.
I think he did. Yeah, he did. I gave him shit for it. But
which is a backhanded slap to both of us, really, because it's like he doesn't know who I am or who you are, really.
These baby blues, like. You've got one chin. I've got like this weird connection of like neck skin. I've seen some TikToks where I can like try to do this and it goes away, but it's never worked.
Yeah.
It's like I've got a head foreskin that just the sleeve rolls down and
split right in the middle of my chin, like somebody just dug an axe into my chin when I was a baby.
People like the butt chin. The butt chin's a good thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Does your wife like rub your butt chin? Because that's what my wife does. She rubs my butt chin.
No, I don't think so.
My lady just rubs my butt.
Fingers my butt chin. Is it gay if she fingers my butt chin?
That's a deep butt chin right there, my friend. Or a tiny finger. I don't know. It could go.
My wife has little tiny child's hands.
But
oh my gosh! All right, talk about ghost bed. I only
let my wife finger my butt chin on a ghost bed because Ghost Bed has been a loyal sponsor of the Drinking Bros Network, who we're a part of for the last 5 years. So we're super proud that they came on with us. And they're our first sponsor, and we're always going to hold them dear to our hearts. But Ghost Beds have a 20-year warranty on each mattress. And my favorite part, Angry Cops, is that it's made in the good old USA. Sorry, I could do that all day. But you can try them out for 101 nights, not 98, not 99, but 101. If you're not satisfied, you can easily return them. Each Ghost Bed mattress has that cooling technology, which you probably don't need in Buffalo. But here in North Carolina, where the humidity is at 200%, that cooling technology is absolutely clutch. But right now, Ghost Bed is offering a flash sale for the Wolf Pack. That's our promo code, Wolfpack. 40% off Ghost Bed bundles where you get a mattress and adjustable base, or 30% off of everything if you use that promo code Wolfpack. But you can buy these mattresses for like $35 a month, 0% financing, 0% down. That's if you have mediocre at best credit, which everybody in the military has great credit, right? Because everybody does really well with their money, especially coming right out of basic training. They're used to having that much money in their pockets. They don't buy ridiculous cars. They put their money where it should be spent, and that's on.
We're really good with interest rates. The higher,
Yes.
the better.
The higher, the better. Yeah. Well, that's what it's supposed to be, right? Like that's.
It's like a golf score.
Yeah. Okay. But anyway,
Everyone's approved. All beds must go.
Amazing price, great quality. Again, that cooling technology is my favorite part about it, and well, my favorite part is that it's made in the USA. So go with that current promotion on the and they have the bundle set up now too. So you can just go on the website and you can just bundle all your shit together and do the little promo code and you get it off. And then we have Raycon. I went jogging.
Your bundle would be your bed, a pillow, and a Demi Moore lookalike.
Yes. Get the shit bundle and shit the bed with Ghost Bed.
Do you have diarrhea? Get the diarrhea model. We carve a deep cavern out in the middle where you most commonly sleep. Have a long night of drinking and have the shits. No problem. Ghost Bed has you covered or supported.
All right, are you done?
No,
I'm just kidding. Next up, we have Raycon. Again, these are wonderful headphones, earbuds. They're like half the price of the competitors. They stick in your ears. They got like 1,000 little cones, so it can fit every ear hole, every type of ear hole. So
is that number accurate?
Yep. It's a real number.
Actually 1,000.
It's a real number. There's a lot of them. I don't know which ear cone.
It's on the internet.
It's like grips for a pistol, right? Like they have a size for each hand. These have a size for each ear hole.
Grips.
So no matter how you're feeling,
are like, no, they don't. They don't have pistol grips. You can't say that.
Look, right now, because they're about to shut shit down for COVID, so you better get your Raycons now, because you're going to be stuck inside, not being able to do shit if you live in some of these crazy states like New York or California. Anywhere but Johnston County, North Carolina, or Florida. But anyway, no matter how you're feeling about things and getting back out in the real world, there's no denying that the world's best is Raycon. And they're loud. I love the bass on them. Get some upbeat music. My favorite is putting Rob Bailey and the Hustle Standard on Pandora. That's what I listen to in my headphones.
I don't know.
That's what gets me going. What gets you going? What's the music that you put in your headphones?
Five Finger Death Punch. No question.
Really? Wow. I was Alanis Morissette.
That's what I popped those Raycons in when I was doing a workout the other day, and Wrong Side of Heaven, man. That's the one. I posted something on the internet today. If you have 20 minutes left to live and you can only listen to one song that whole time, what would it be? And that was like one of my top ones, that or Fade to Black by Metallica. So.
You Ought to Know by Alanis Morissette. That's what I'm going
with.
You
posted that, which is really stupid. Why
would you want to make that 20 minutes feel like forever? You heard love. It's definitely going to.
Isn't it ironic?
No, that's on the same album though. It was a great Jagged Little Pill was like the best album ever made by a
sure. If you want to sing a song about irony that is not actually contain any irony, that is the irony. So I guess the song, it was ironic.
Well, it doesn't matter if you're going to listen to it. The best way to listen to it is on your Raycons. They come with a bunch of those little gel tips for your comfort. And unlike some other brands, they don't stick out of your ears. Raycons have a 32-hour battery life, which is clutch for me because I go on really long runs. Not a far distance. Not a far distance. Not a far distance, but it's really long.
No one is running. I've seen you. You walk.
I did 5
You're not
miles.
running.
I was
at your house. You walked everywhere. You ran nowhere.
I walk every morning and then I run in the afternoons.
I don't believe that. I've never seen
I run for a long time because I'm really slow. But they start at half the price as premium audio brands. Raycons come with a 45-day happiness guarantee, so you can't lose. Go to buyraycon.com/Wolfpack and save 15% on those Raycons. Again, that's buyraycon.com/Wolfpack. No.
That can't be a thing. We got to stop that. We got to stop that week 1. We got to shut that shit down right now.
That's worse than Battle Buddies.
I thought we were in the Wolfpack.
Maybe a Wolfpack, you guys can decide. Well, first of all, maybe we shouldn't just assign you a name. Maybe you should decide it for yourselves. It's 2021, but
no, they have to be Wolfpack because that's where all of our promo codes are. So
yeah, I guess too late, guys. Too late. You're the Wolfpack. That's what's happening.
Can't change those promo codes.
At least for the next quarter, until these sponsors decide we're too big of pieces of shit to keep working with. All right. So the main topic, everybody's like, hey, it's been 46 minutes. Let's talk about this. It's titled Demilitarizing the Police, ? So I worked with several guys in the military. I would say that both departments that I spent the bulk of my time in my law enforcement career before I left, because I'm a coward. Before I walked away, I would say that probably 40% of the guys in my department were former military. That probably about that is. Would you guys feel the same about your departments? Like, where would you put it percentage wise of people who have military experience?
The FBI did some sort of statistical shenanigan about it, and I read it off one of my videos years ago, and it was literally 20%. Like 2016 said 20% of all law enforcement was had a prior military background.
Yeah, I
which
think
is about right.
My academy had 56 people in it, and I think there was 4, maybe 5 veterans in the class.
Oh yeah,
So
I had 50
department.
I had 50 in my academy class, and I feel like it was definitely more like 10 or above that had that was like had probably like recently come out of the military. They like do their military time, get out, and I don't know how it is in your guys' states, but in Michigan, there's only a couple of departments in the whole state that you can, like, at the age of 18, go apply with your GED or high school diploma, become a cop, and you could be a cop at age 18. You can't even carry your gun off duty because you're not 21 or whatever. America.
Yeah, ours is 21.
Yeah, so
I think
beyond that,
21.
Beyond that, then everyone else, you have to, your academy would basically complete your associate's degree. So a lot of the people in my academy class would have been using the academy because they wanted to be cops, of course, but not all of them went on to be cops, but they completed their CJ associate's degree with the academy because it was a certain amount of credits. And so they go and that they're accredited that, and they complete their associates, and 21 or over, but that was common, but lots of military people. And I feel like, I
think it's the other way around too, because a lot of police officers leave the police department to go to the military too. So I served with a lot of, especially in special operations, man. There's a good number of, my sergeant major was a state trooper before he was a sergeant major of 20 Special Forces Group. So,
man, you guys and how do you come to say sergeant the wrong way? Like, because both of you were Army, right?
Yes.
So they do this, and I had a guy that I worked with. He was a canine officer. He's a boss now, but he does the same thing. Like sergeant, you slur it. It's a slurred word.
You mean
you mean major, sergeant major.
Sergeant major?
Like, you forget the G or something.
We say sergeant major. Yeah.
Yeah.
I call him Smaj.
Where did that come?
Yeah,
Sarge Madge.
Where did that come from? Sergeant major. Like, you just like skip the letters.
People being lazy. People don't say sergeant. They say sergeant.
Sarge.
No, we don't say Sarge. They say sergeant.
I say Sarge, like the real common lingo, like, I don't know.
Which is so stupid.
Sarge,
like, that's
or
one
LT.
thing I used to hate
Lou,
about
you don't call people Lou here. It's like LT. It's like your lieutenants.
We call
Sarge.
him Lou. We call him boss.
Hey, boss. Yeah.
Yeah, we say boss.
Boss or LT is, I think, pretty common.
One thing that used to piss me off about the military was little shit like that. Like, can't say Sarge. Like, why the fuck not? Why the fuck not?
What is this?
You say
I cannot
it
stop shoving pencils in my pee hole except when this is on. Jody Barnett. What the heck? Thank you, Jody. I'm glad we could be of service.
It's like some drill sergeant somewhere got butthurt for me calling Sarge, and now like the whole military can't use the word Sarge.
Yeah, somebody got It's like the sergeant major's grass. Like, I've never seen a sergeant major say "get off my grass," but it's like the running joke in the Army.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've been yelled at for being on somebody on the grass. Get off sergeant major's grass. Get off sergeant major's grass.
But I've never seen a sergeant major actually say, "Hey, get off my fucking grass."
No, but like you'll have like
never seen it.
You'll have that little sharpshooter that's walking around. Get your hands out of your pockets. Get off the sergeant major's grass. Quit.
All right. So my first question to you guys about because I want to start at the training point and kind of work our way through sort of like the aspects of the job as cops compared to the military, and then get into the militarization combo. But from a training perspective, I've heard two different perspectives. I had guys like in my academy that were like from the military. They had just left, and they're like, this is nothing, like going to the police academy. They're like, whatever. They're yelling. This is nothing. Yeah. And I'm like, all right, cool. Like, cause I would ask, like, how is this compared to like, boot camp or basic or whatever, and they also like, yeah, it's nothing. On the other hand, I had a guy that was Army who said that the Michigan State Trooper Academy, which is like a live-in,
Mm-hmm.
26-week thing. They said that was way worse than basic was. He's like, we had people trying to freaking drown us in a pool in, the Trooper Academy, and really hard asses there. They're like, I would rather go through basic 3 more times again than go through the Trooper Academy 1 more time. It was way worse. So I'm sure this range, how was it for you guys compared to your military, at least initial training to the academy?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you guys are so
Go ahead.
I mean,
Go ahead.
You're
ahead.
the guest. Guest
Oh, okay.
first.
So funny story, brand new probationary police officer High was interviewed at the graduation of my police academy. So go ahead and try and Google that up, where I talk about the camaraderie and the brotherhood and how similar it is to the military.
Oh.
Very well spoken.
Yeah.
But when it comes to a discipline aspect for the county, because I'm a city cop, so we go to our county academy. Discipline wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
Nowhere near to the standards that the military has. I mean, I'm talking about like even drill and ceremony, which is like a moot point for the police. You really don't. Nobody's marching anywhere, but like facing movements or lining up for formation in the morning. Even that was like trash.
Should cops toss that out? Should that just not even be a thing?
I think drill and ceremony should be a thing, but not the marching. Just listen, this is how you form up. Really simple, basic stuff. This is how you form up. This is how you left and right face. This is how you give a hand salute. That's all you really need.
I've been to so many cop funerals, and most of their drill and ceremony, unless you're in the honor guard that has been
correct
specifically trained in that, dude, it's a soup sandwich out there for the most part.
Yeah.
Anyway, continue.
But I mean, as far as like honor guard goes and stuff, like you're not supposed to do hard facing movements anyway. It's supposed to be like if you go to like real honor guard school in the military, they don't they tee off their corners. They don't do the whole
mm-hmm.
because it's more sombering than to do it that way. It's, I guess, more empathetic, I guess. But anyway, your point.
But yeah, that the academy was difficult, but just being in the military, if you look at my police academy, I was like, there are some things that need to change. Now, on the other hand, there's the neighboring county, Niagara County, where Niagara Falls is, and their shit's no joke, from what I'm told, from a bunch of guys that have gone through there. They take theirs a little bit more seriously, and it's a lot more militarized.
I thought my academy was considerably harder than probably basic training. I mean, basic training was harder. Basic training is harder because you're there, right? And you're stuck with a bunch of dum-dums.
Which I wish they would do that for even just city cops. They do it for the troopers, there in Michigan, here in New York, where Monday through Friday, you are at the barracks, and then you figure out what you're going to do on the weekend.
But I mean, as far as ours goes, you had to be there, at 6 a.m. and you didn't get let out till 5, which is crazy because then you learn like halfway through the academy that you actually don't have to be there till 8. But like that's another one of those, like, the privates thing where it's like you got to be here at 8, so then you got to be here at 7, and then so anyway, everybody's always there at like 6, and if you're not there at 6, your squad leaders are really mad at you, even though you're not getting paid. Anyway, but
luckily I had military time on, so I was just like, hey, listen, text me when you're gonna be late. Let me know ahead of time. I'll hold your spot for you. Don't worry. I'll say you're in the bathroom. Blah 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 blah. I was platoon leader for my academy. There
Cool
was
guy.
platoons.
I was a platoon leader too for a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was
it
gonna help me in my career. So that did great.
But what was hard about the police academy for me, or what made it harder, was like I can do the physical stuff all day long, and not quit. But like the police academy, if you fail or if you piss the wrong person off, they'll just fire you in the academy. So it was like the stress level for me in the academy of like, it wasn't like you fuck up in basic training and you just do 20 push-ups. Like you fuck up enough at the academy and they're just like, yeah, you're out. Like you're just not gone. You're not getting this. You don't have the discipline. See ya.
We have a notebook, and my academy does this thing where you have a notebook of every single class that you go to, and you have to take down rigorous notes by hand, and then you have to type them up because they don't want you in there with your computers fucking off, right? So your overall grade for the academy is like 40%, but your notebook, what you took notes on throughout the entire academy, is like 60% of your overall grade in the academy. And if you get caught cheating off of somebody else's notebook, like cutting and pasting and putting it in there, you're gone.
Yeah. Yeah, so
Nice.
there's a lot of things that the police academy does. And I thought the shark attack on day one, or the wolf packing, whatever you want to call it, for basic training was hard. It was crazy, right? Because that was my first time.
Who
so
calls it a wolf packing?
I do.
Stop.
I forgot. I didn't know that it was called shark attack, dude. Like I went to basic training in like 2003. So
I went to basic training in 2005. We're not that
okay,
different.
well,
I'm sorry.
2003, and but I got out of the military in
Did
2010.
you guys both
so I
have that
forgot
happen
what they
at your
call it.
academy? That
The shark attack, yes.
No.
I
You
had
didn't
that
get
at
shark
the
attack.
academy.
You didn't get shark
Yeah.
attack at the academy.
Nope.
Oh, man,
yeah,
that
no,
was
they did it. They came in
Yeah.
hard, but it was also a former military dude that was leading it, and so it was ours tended to be much more militaristic. I obviously I've not been in the military, so I can't genuinely compare, but my understanding would be that because the guy leading it was in the military, he carried that experience over into how he conducted himself with us, like, yelling at us and
I
getting
think
in our
the shark
faces and all
attack
that
is
stuff.
so important. There's people in the comments here. That
We
don't
had
know
people
what
quit the
shark
first day. They walked
I
out.
mean, the shark attack is really
from it.
important, and
That's
that is
the
just where
Yeah.
simply is a bunch of drill sergeants or instructors. They come down on you and they yell at you and they confuse you, and it's not a hazing thing. What it is they're trying to get you stirred up. And honestly, as a police officer, if you can't handle the shark attack, how are you going to handle a riot, or how are you going to handle a bunch of dum-dums on the street? So, what is your favorite part? Angry Cops, when you're doing a shark attack, do you have like a go-to thing where you look for that one guy so you can say that one line?
Oh no, man! I'm quick-witted. I come up with stuff on the spot. I look for the asshole. I look for the kid that's rolling his eyes and like thinks that it's a joke. And then, and I'm exceptionally loud, even for a drill sergeant. I'm exceptionally loud. So I'll go over to the guy that's rolling his eyes, and I'll let the rest of the bay know. I'll be like, "Oh, you're gonna roll your eyes at this drill sergeant? This private just said, 'Fuck you, drill,'" and all of a sudden, there they go.
Yeah, my favorite thing in the shark attack was we were all in line day one. And listen, I've been to a lot of military trainings, a lot of military schools, and been shark attacked a few times. But it was at the academy that I had my favorite one, and I knew what the shark attack was going to be, right? So I'm taking it real seriously because I've already been here, I've done this before, I know how to treat a shark attack.
Don't move, listen directions.
Right. So I'm going to, and there's a guy two rows down from me, and he had a beanie cap on. And I had said at the beginning, when we're all getting there, I was like, "Hey man, I don't know.
Take that beanie cap off.
You might want to take that beanie cap off. Shit's about to get real." And he was like, "No, man, it's cool." And he was like a fatter kind of kid. And so the shark attack comes out, and everybody's
judgmental prick.
And so one of the sergeants comes over and he gets in the guy's face. This guy was actually in the Marine Corps. He's a Marine Corps drill sergeant at one time. And so he comes over to the kid and he starts yelling and he goes, "How many bags are you supposed to have?" And everybody's like, "2 bags, sir." And he's like, "How many?" And everybody's like, "2 bags, sir." And he goes, "Hey, young man, how many bags you got?" And this kid's like 2 people down from me. And the kid goes, and he's got the beanie cap on. He goes, two bags, sir. And he goes, how many bags do you have? And he goes, 2. And he goes, "Whose bag is that?" And he's like, "My bag, sir." And he goes, "Well, whose bag is that?" And he's like, "That's my bag, sir." He goes, "Well, whose fucking bag is that?" And he goes, "That's not my bag. That's my lunchbox." And he goes, "You gotta be shitting me. The fattest fucking kid in the class has got the largest fucking lunchbox. Let me ask you something. Did you get raped by the Muffin Man, or do you just enjoy looking like a pregnant cupcake?" I fucking lost all composure. I was out, and he goes, "Oh, and you think this is funny?" And I couldn't even stop. And he was like, it was just game on for me. And then I got fucking wolf bat, or shark attacked, whatever you want to call it. But that was the funniest shit I've ever heard out of all the training. Did you get raped by the Muffin Man, or did you just enjoy
the Muffin Man?
Like a pregnant cupcake?
It lives on Drury Lane. That was I was warned by cops that had gone to the academy before me, and it was like they said, "Oh, hey, your orientation's coming up, right?" "Yeah, my orientation's, like Thursday or whatever." And the academy leadership was like, "Yeah, just bring your pencil, bring a manila folder with these documents in it, bring your pencil or your pen or whatever, and dress business casual. Mm-hmm. And show up at this time. And we're going to have, it's a half day. It's orientation day." I'm like, "Okay, cool." So these cops are stopped by my house or whatever. Like, "Oh, so your orientation's coming up?" "Yeah." "Hey, make sure you wear shoes that you want to exercise in. Like, try to get a pair of shoes or do something that make them comfortable." And I'm like, "Why? I mean, it's just orientation day." And they're like, "You're going to be exercising for hours." And I was like, no. They said it's orientation. Like, just bring this middle of folder. And they're like, Mike, we're telling you, like, you're going to get PT'd to death. Like, on this day, it's going to happen. And you're going to sweat. You're going to be uncomfortable. Wear shoes that you want to do like jumping jacks in or something. Like, it's going to happen. So I'm like, no, that sweet old man said that we were just doing orientation. And then, of course, that sweet old man was in our faces. Like, the door's closed. All right, mopes. And then it's like game on.
Mopes! He uses mopes too. It's such a great slang term.
What is mopes? What is mopes?
Well, for me in New York, it means like you're just a mope. You're moping around on a corner.
The lowest of the low, like
you're not doing anything. You're just kind of walking around with your head low, just being a burden.
It's equivalent to turd in the good guy world. So like you're the bottom of the good guys. You're the mopes.
Okay.
You're the mope. Right. You're a mope.
I got you.
See, we use it as like a negative term, like just
and
not even a negative. Like, you're just some dude on the street that's like looks like he's like a turdish. You guys use the term jizz?
Well, I mean,
I've never heard that term.
I don't use it really.
I think it's a Buffalo thing. I love calling guys jizz. Like, look at this fucking jizz over here.
Really? Oh, we call him. We call him like scrotes.
Wow.
Scrotes. I've done that. Like, well, this guy's a scrote. Like whatever. Like, yeah.
How we use jizz? This guy's a fucking jizz.
So
what a wasted piece of potential. Just
somehow it all circles back to the genitalia in some way, I guess.
I don't know. Everything does. We're men. Just.
So the shark attack thing happens. I learned my lesson. Sweaty mess in my business casual and shoes that I shouldn't have worn. But later on in my career, I would go back and I would be like, they would look for cops to come back and assist with like PT and DT, all that stuff with the instructors. And I did that for particularly the PT sessions. And we got to a point. It was a few years later where that now there was a new director at the academy, and we got in some kids' faces when they were just like slacking, running on the tarmac or whatever, doing like suicide runs or whatever we were doing at the time. And so we yelled at a couple of kids like, "Hey, you mopes, like get whatever." And then the director was like, motioning to one other instructor. And then it was like, then the main instructor comes to us and goes, "Hey, we can't like get in their faces, like they're taking a different approach." And that was the last day. At the end of that session, I grabbed my shit. I was done. I was like, if I can't do, because I'm like, these kids, if they can't handle being yelled at by people who aren't trying to punch them in the face, imagine how they're gonna fold when they get out there on the street and day one somebody's like, "Fuck you, motherfucker," and getting in their face. Like, if they can't handle it in an environment where they're not going to die, how are they going to? I mean, so I was like, I just ideologically, I'm like,
yeah,
I'm done.
The point is to manufacture stress in a sterile environment.
Yes.
So that one, you can gauge their reaction and see whether or not they're made for it. And two, to harden them so that they can be better, AKA training. Train them.
You don't say.
It's almost like it makes sense. I'm actually, if I'll never be promoted. I don't think I'm ever going to get promoted, but I would like to take over my academy one day, be the lieutenant of our academy.
Nice. But it's
a goal. It's a goal. I know. It's a lofty one.
What do you guys call like the head of your academy? What are the?
It used to
commandant.
be a captain.
The commandant.
Yeah, the commandant.
That's what we call it. That's what we call the commandant. But our commandant actually resigned, and he was a 16-year officer. He was a commandant of the academy. He was a sergeant. He's the first one to resign, and he resigned because they literally got rid of the shark attacking. They got rid of the stress-induced training, and they were also told that certain people were going to graduate and certain people weren't. And it was a real big deal around here. And he said, "Nope, I'm fucking out." And he got out, and you know what? He's one of my favorite leaders of all time. His name was Patterson. But I really had a lot of respect for him because he never sold his soul to the promotion. He said, like, this is wrong. This isn't right. And I could bitch about it, or I could do the right thing and I'll fucking resign. And so with a stellar career, I mean, this guy had one of the best police careers, drugs and vice. He was another detective.
That's one of the reasons why I want to get in there, because I want to look at the turds that go, because we know you see some of these kids in the academy, and it's not a judgment. I'm not saying, hey, maybe they are a piece of shit, but you just know the ones that just you're not cut out for this.
Doesn't mean
I
you're
know-
a bad person, but not everybody's designed to do everything.
Yeah, you can't, and you don't want them out on the street because they're the ones that are going to fucking shoot somebody in the face for no reason instead of tasing.
Or they're the one that's going to crash a car every fucking 3 weeks.
Yeah.
You know,
and hurt
you're
other
like,
people. Like, this is a dangerous fucking job. You can't have turds in a fucking great job. Doesn't mean you're not a good person. Doesn't mean that you know, don't have that kind of spirit of giving and help. But right now, you're not going to help the community. You're going to fuck it up. So, like, we need to weed you out pretty early.
Exactly. It just needs to come back. Like the amount of people that go into an academy and you're like, okay, cool. Out of 100 and some people that went to this academy, one person was told, hey, you need to leave. One fucking person out of 100?
No.
Was this like the creme de la creme of the test that you were taking? Like the top 5% of the civil service test that just took this? Or is this just like a normal class of 100? Because if it's a normal class of 100, I'm telling you right now, 99 people don't belong there. Not just, or out of the 100, one is, no, that's not it. No,
Then without that, I watched over the coming years, once I stepped away from helping at the academy, and I've watched originally, like, let's say that you have like, right, A band, B band, and C band, you know, depending on how you guys do your tests for the police, usually there's some type of scoring system, right? Like you have an overall score where you sit. And I saw departments going from having so many applicants that they would only choose out of the A band, right? They had their literally pick of the best that came out of that. Then it was, okay, we're down to the B band. And by the time I was leaving last year, departments that I'm very familiar with, they were basically choosing the bottom of the C band, like the barely acceptable standard is what they're pulling from to hire people onto the job. And it becomes this self-fulfilling prophecy because everybody doesn't want cops to be quote unquote militarized, like paramilitary and focused and trained in that style of environment. But then you're going to get people that aren't trained in that environment and you're getting shit cops.
Yeah. So go ahead.
No, I was saying like the whole demilitarization started with Obama, right? Like he was the one that kind of headed up, we're going to demilitarize the police. And that was getting rid of, you know, the 50 caliber weapons, that was getting rid of the MRAP vehicles, that was getting rid of.
I wish I had a 50 caliber weapon when I was a cop. I didn't have that.
Yeah. Where the hell did we get the 50 caliber weapons?
I believe Hillsborough SWAT had one.
One guy had them.
No, well, their sniper team had it. And that was for, that was for, certain barricaded subjects, but Hillsborough County, their sniper team they had to get rid of their 50 cal, which is fine. But I mean, you've got to have some kind of military training, because what happens when you have like crazy bulldozer guy that has the armored bulldozer, or you've got the guys that come out of the bank, like what was that in LA, where they came out of the bank and they were from head to toe. So if you don't have any tactics or tools to take care of that, I mean, does a firefighter have to carry a concrete saw to every call? No. But shit, dude, if he's got to get into some concrete to get somebody out of a fallen building, don't you think you want him to have a fucking concrete saw in the truck? So I don't know that's.
My argument would be too that, like, if you look at most of the equipment that police agencies were given during this militarization, during the Bush administration because of 9/11 and blah blah blah, and then them wanting to get taken away during the Obama administration, like most of the equipment was defensive. Yeah, SWAT guys got rifles. They're SWAT. They're supposed to have special weapons and tactics, right? That's their name. But overall, overall, you're getting more body armor. Cops look military because they got more body armor. That's defensive. I'm not killing anybody with body armor. That's to protect myself. Oh, we don't like that they've got these up armored vehicles. Once again, I'm not running people over with this. I might be using it in a raid to push through a fucking front door.
You're not sitting on the highway running radar in a armored vehicle.
And MRAPs.
It's a defensive vehicle so that I can get as close to the barricaded person.
Off the back. Do you know how fast you were going? Tell me how fast you were going.
They're just ramming cars into the middle barriers so they can stop them. Like, and those are like the two big things. How much window tint's
on this vehicle? Repeat. How much window tint is on this vehicle?
They've got a 50 caliber tint meter. They're just like pointing at people as they drive by.
We are cleared hot. Repeat. We are cleared hot.
Shoot him with the 50 caliber tint meter.
Take out that vehicle now. Do not let him get to mile marker 247. Repeat. Anyway.
We've got 5,000 dead on the interstate, but you know what? It's good days of work. These violent criminal drivers are off the streets. Well, they're still on the streets on fire, but we'll clean it up
well, so a
tomorrow.
lot of these guys they don't understand is like when you've got departments like Hillsborough County Sheriff's Department, which is Tampa.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, so
okay.
and they have a very large. Well, so the reason why their SWAT team is, I mean, they've got a couple of helicopters. I mean, they got some big equipment, but they're fighting like drug cartels. I mean, I was just talking to, I got a buddy, it's a sergeant on the SWAT team there, and he said they had a plane that they were all up on the airport ready to take down for a drug cartel thing, and the plane just kept going, and it passed the airport until it just crashed into the ocean. Like a cartel member was like, fuck it. I'll just drive this bitch into the ocean. And they never found the pilot or anything like that. They found the plane.
He probably jumped out beforehand. He's like, hey, this is a total loss. Maybe we can recover some of it when it crashes. All right. And I'm over. Oh, there's 5th Street.
Yeah. But I mean, they've got some real crazy shit that goes on down there with these big drug cartels and these big violent gangs. I mean, they've got a boat crew. They have to dive for drug bells that get dropped off at the coast of Tampa. So some of these departments just out of necessity, Miami-Dade's another one of them, that they're dealing with people that have saws, like,
oh yeah,
squad
like
automatic weapons.
Yes.
Yeah. Like they have fucking squad automatic weapons that they, that these cartel guys, big league players. So if you don't have a SWAT team that, I mean, we don't have that shit in Raleigh.
These are some big criminals. Some of
we
the
ain't got that shit in Raleigh.
Beautiful criminals.
The criminals came down to Florida because that's where I live now, and they're saying I need to pump up my game.
They repel. They repel down the buildings. We need to attack them.
They're the worst. I've seen them. You've seen them. It's the border crisis.
I don't know where they came from. I know we got to get rid of them.
They're all rapists.
Hide your kids. So yeah,
hide your kids, hide your wives.
The equipment issue, as far as militaristic goes, I think that's a super valid point that you brought up, Rich, about it's defensive, right? Like most of this stuff is used it's only brought out and used in circumstances where it's needed. It's not that it's being used to take over the towns where police exist. So somebody hates militaristic equipment, but then what about the robot and the vehicles used in that San Bernardino office shooting a couple years ago, right? Like, then that gets praised because the situation is resolved well, but it required militaristic, quote unquote, equipment to get the job done safely.
Yeah.
So
when Dallas used that, the robot to just blow up that active shooter that was popping cops at that.
So badass, dude.
I love Texas. Like some of it's weird, but like some of it's just like, hey man, you fucking shot a couple of our guys, so we're not gonna ask you to come out.
I want to
know
what the planning. I wonder what the planning op was.
We're just gonna let you know you're gonna be dead in about 2 minutes.
You're gonna be in smithereens, son.
I'd say your prayers. I'd say your prayers if I were you.
We've already talked to the governor. Okay, he's already issued. You already got the death penalty, son. So we're just going to speed this process up. We don't need to waste any money on a trial or have you talk about some sort of weird shit. So okay, cool. We're done talking. See you in hell.
The ink is wet here on this tier contract for your death. Yes. We're sending it in with the robot. Look at that real quick before we hit the button.
See, this is the first time it's happened in decades, but the Texas Marshals printed up an actual paper wanted sign, dead or alive for you right now. Literally took 20 minutes because they faxed it over. I burnt the edges with a lighter because my wife has been into Pinterest. Anywho, so you're gonna die, and you have fun having those little demons poke your butthole with their porch fix.
Tell Lightfoot we said hello.
Yeah. You tell them lizard people down there that they can have Chicago.
We don't even want it. Never liked it.
Never liked it.
I would have loved to have been in that planning op though. Like, anybody got any ideas? And one dude's like, I actually have one. What do you got, Mike? What's your fucking idea?
We could blow them up.
We've got some C4. We got some C4. It's about to expire. We've never got to use it. We've got this fucking robot. That thing fucking barely works half the time anyway. We need a new one. I've been wanting to get rid of that fucking robot forever.
So I can just looking to left and right like this. This makes a lot of sense.
I'm feeling this, guys. I'm feeling it.
We'll have the insurance company take care of the bot. This is a win-win. This is a win-win.
Actually, Mike, that's actually a good idea. That's probably the first good idea you've ever had. But let's go ahead, strap this bad boy up.
We were actually going to lay you off next Tuesday, but
That money we're gonna save on the robot.
Horrible ideas all the time. So when he raises his hands, everybody just goes, "Oh, Jesus!" And then he comes up with it, and
This could work. It could actually work. Anyway.
Sometimes even the blind squirrel gets a nut.
there were a whole bunch of like Iraq and Afghanistan EOD techs in there that were like, "Wait, we get to blow up the bad guy this time? I'm in.
I'm all in."
So we've talked about some similarities of training, which we think are important to handle stress, and that's the whole reason that the training is shaped the way it is. Equipment is important to handle the task at hand when it's necessary. So the better the equipment, the better we can respond to a variety of and adapt to a variety of situations. The chain of command, that whole environment, having the paramilitary operations, having a chain of command for decision making and moving forward in dynamic situations is important. But where are the dissimilarities? Right, use of force is one. You can talk about that. I think use of force is a huge dissimilarity between the military and police. So we can talk about that. But I'm curious, what other, from your guys' experience in both training and active duty, what is really different? What do we need to leave in the military and not carry over to the police?
Use of force.
Yeah. Rules of engagement.
rules of engagement. Yeah.
So like recon by fires, like, hey, which room is he in? I don't know. Shoot in that window and see if he shoots back. And if he does, that's which window he's in.
See, funny that you say that. I was in the academy and we're doing active shooter training, and they have a guy pop up through. We have sim rounds. They have a guy pop up through a window, and then you shoot at him because he's displaying a gun. It was a call, and then he would duck behind the thing. And what they wanted to teach us was shoot when you see the threat, and then when you no longer see the threat, stop shooting. And so he pops up in the window with the gun, and I go pop, 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 and I follow his body movement down through the wall in an arcing motion, the way that he went up and went, behind it. Sure. And they go, "Military guy?" I go, "Yes, sir." He goes, "Yeah, we don't shoot through walls to try and put down the target, even though I know that that's the way he was moving and it makes sense. We don't do that here." I was like, "Oh, yeah. Okay."
No following your rounds. When I was in the academy, the final instruction that you have is a sim round live fire, a drill, and there's a shooter at a gas station that they've got some little barricades that you can move around. And there's two bad guys. And so when it was my turn to go, of course your stress level is really high. But I live for this stuff. Like I've already been through this kind of training 1,000 times, so I already knew in my brain how I was going to kind of work through this and where I was going to move to and whatever. And so I get to the first guy and I gun him down and I use his barricade where he's down. And I walk up, I run to the barricade and I slide under it where he's laying down. It's another instructor. And I reach over and I grab the gun. I drop the mag, I rack it, and I launch the gun out into the woods as far as I can, this fake gun. And then I start working on the other dude. And everybody's like, whoa, hold, stop. Like, what in the fuck are you doing? And I was like, what? Like, I'm not going to sit here with this dude who may or may not be dead. And there's a gun here. And then I'm not going to put the gun in my fucking pants and blow my dick off. Like, I'm just going to rack it and get rid of it.
Yeah.
There's woods right there. Like, nobody's going into the woods to go get this fucking gun right now. We'll get
Pull the bolts out.
You've got dogs. And they're all like, bro, like, we get that you're in the military and that you think of some weird shit, but that's not what you can't do. You can't do that in the real world.
We have to leave that there for evidence, man. You're like, I got to leave the bad guy with the gun? Yeah.
Yeah, that's fucking dumb.
Yeah. I know, right? There's some shit that, like, on the job, you're looking at it, you're like, you can't touch that because otherwise they're going to, you can't do that. You're like, but I'm not safe. But that's not safe.
Yeah, we one of another our sergeants was in the military as well, and we had a shooting. We had a dead dude, and he had crack in his. He used to like crack in his mouth, which I always thought was really funny. But he got gunned down at like 3 a.m. and our sarge gets up there and he's got his gun out and he walks up on the guy and he reaches over the dude's body and he grabs the gun and he just slings it down the sidewalk. And the news made like such a big deal about it. But he was like, I mean, I didn't know if this guy is dead or not dead, and we're not going to just sit here and scream at a dude laying on the ground bleeding out. Yeah. And what else are you going to do with the gun? You could, but it's always funny. But yeah, that's one of the things that the military taught me. Also, you can't kick people to see if they're dead or not. I think that's stupid. You should always Or is it at least like
I mean,
maybe muzzle somebody to see if they're still alive? Like, because in the military, that's what you're trained to do, right?
yeah, you kick him in the junk. You kick him really hard in the taint,
Yeah.
and then
Kick him in the taint, or you freaking muzzle push him in the sternum.
Yeah,
something
that
like that.
muscle
You know,
thump.
just,
Sternal rubs are the thing. I don't know.
yeah, but if you can't do it with the barrel of your gun.
Yes, you
In
can.
the military, you can. In the police force, you cannot.
they teach you to. But that's like, that's one of the things that's like difficult with policing, right? Is it makes sense. It's the safest way of doing something, but because the optics look bad,
right?
And we have to worry about the way we fucking look 24/7 as cops.
Because perception is reality,
right?
Perception is reality. Angry cop.
It's fucking, dude. It kills me. Oh, I'm in the news again. Well, I had another video of I tackled a guy that was standing over some cops, and
It was pretty sweet, though.
oh, did you see it?
Oh, I saw it. It was epic, bro.
Thank you.
It made me want to be a cop again for a moment. I was like, man, I kind of miss getting to do stuff like that. That seems pretty cool.
That whole it was a shit show. But people go like, oh, why did he have to hit him? Like, why did he tackle him? And I'm like, because he's standing over an arrest. Because he's standing over like 3 cops wrestling with the dude. They're trying to effect an arrest after I told him to get away like 30 fucking times. And the guy just tried to let somebody out of the back of a car of, guess what? An armed robbery, which I recovered the firearm. So there's guns and there's people. And there's people trying to let people out of cop cars, and then you're standing over cops as they're trying to make an arrest. So yeah, I'm gonna jack you away. Well, that doesn't make sense. That sounded weird.
I'm gonna jack you right off. I'm gonna jack you off this crime scene,
away, you
asshole. I don't understand why the cops had to jack him off. I mean,
it was kindler, gentler. So I pushed him away.
Pressed for a comment, officer.
Officer was too busy jerking.
I said I was gonna jerk that jizz.
What'd you call it? What was the dick reference?
Scrote?
Scrote. He jerked that scrote.
He shook that scrote senseless.
So these optics are like, oh, a cop just ran up to this dude that's standing over just standing there. Like, okay, no, that's not what happened. And so, but yeah,
a man peacefully inquiring about the situation with 3 officers trying to get their attention was racially profiled and tackled violently by.
But of course, everybody's yelling like they're just playing football. Like, no, it was an armed robbery, and we got the gun. And
if by football you mean pointing guns at people and stealing stuff,
at children, they're pointing guns at children.
But you know, like this is like a real problem that we have right now. And the DC officers that this week that punched the guy in the face 12 times, and the chief comes out,
and he had a gun on him.
Out, and he's
fuck that chief.
He goes,
fuck you,
that motherfucker. Yes, and he says, I don't care what the offense was. This is not how we treat our citizens. So it's a fucking armed felon, a violent felon at that. And what do we want to do? Is like, we want to fucking back off and shoot him or punch him in the face. And I remember a time when I had an incident where we were on a community project, and a guy had a gun in his pocket, and he was telling me it was a cell phone. I was like, well, your cell phone looks a lot like a gun. So what I'm going to need you to do is keep your hands up on top of your head. And if your hands drop, because I perceive what's in your pocket to be a gun and not a cell phone, I'm going to treat it like a gun. He's like, man, you're out here trying to kill a N-word and this and that. And I said, well, I'm just telling you based on my perception is what I see. So it's real important that you don't move your hands. Well, he moved his hands, and I yanked him out of the car, and I beat the fucking brakes off of him, and I hit him until the eyes rolled into the back of his head, and I knew it was done. And guess what? He had a stolen 380 in his pocket. And so I got called in the office, and my captain was there, my lieutenant was there, my sergeant was there, and I was like, oh, Jesus. What did I do now? And they're like, hey, man, we reviewed that video from your last shift where you got that gun, and we read your use of force, and we wanted to talk to you about it. And I was like, what? What do you want to talk about? And they were like, well, you should have shot him. If you saw that it was a gun and you saw it was in his pocket, you should have shot him, but you didn't. You punched him like 16 times in the face, and it wasn't 16, it was like 8. And it looks really, really bad. And so now IA is going to watch it. And I'm like, do you fucking hear yourselves? Are you fucking serious? Like, I saved this guy's life.
That's what people don't get. That's what people don't get. Is my option when you are resisting with the firearm is to either say, okay, I'm going to fucking light you up with a pistol, or I'm going to give 110% of the energy in my body to prevent you from using the firearm and to effect an arrest. And you know what?
Try to save your life and try to keep you alive.
Yeah.
But, and I'm sorry that it looks bad, me trying to but like, you ever seen You ever seen a tiger trying to protect itself? Like, you think that he tries to do things pretty? Like,
You just equate yourself to a tiger.
Yeah, I caught that too. I caught that too.
No, he's gonna rip your fucking
horrible
guts
analogy.
out.
Yeah,
Eric the
Really
tiger tansy.
excited, guys.
Eric the tiger
I'm scared
tansy.
of
That's
tigers.
it.
Hashtag Tiger Pack.
Tiger.
We're a
I'm
pride
sorry
now.
that my use of force didn't look good to you.
But
Yeah.
that's a great point. What
Pride
makes
pack.
me think two things. One is I would love it if what the media decided to cover was all the times that lethal force would have been allowed, but was not used.
Well, you know what that also comes to is
cops
that comes
have been in so many situations where they could have, but they didn't.
So that's where you need leadership.
To
lead.
Whoa. It's really hard to do that when you're trying to climb a political ladder, though.
So that's and I know different states do different things. All right, but my department, you have people that take civil service exams for promotions. So like lieutenants, captains, inspectors, right? And then you have the civil service positions that were their appointed positions, from the mayor's office, like the commissioner and then chief or district heads, right? So the chief and district heads are political positions, right? You're appointed there. So you kind of understand that they have to play a political game in order to keep their job and keep everybody happy. Unfortunately, it's the way that the world is. What irritates me is when you have high-ranking people that take the civil service exam that aren't going to get fired, that aren't going to get let go because what they're doing is legitimate, and standing up for the awful but lawful tactics of, hey, I either shoot you or I punch you in the face a bunch of times until you're dazed and I can finally get your hands behind your back. Or the union offices, if you're in a state that has a union. Where is the union president? New York City's union president is fantastic with it, where they have a media or social media presence where they can say, hey, here's the rub. All right. If you don't want to get jacked in the face by a 6'4", 230-pound white guy with a badge on his chest, all right, black or white, whatever, any race. I got to throw that out there because heaven help us all, the world that we're living in now. If you don't want that to happen to you, okay, then don't carry around an illegal firearm, and then don't start resisting when you've got two other cops trying to put your hands behind your back. Like,
while you have a gun.
The fact that they didn't butt fuck the dudes that threw the fucking trash cans in that video where they're like throwing the trash cans and they're throwing the chairs. Like that one dude threw a chair. Like it was the best chair toss I've ever seen in my life.
Like a bottle too.
Yeah, a glass bottle. Well, the other cop went after him. He didn't throw it. He held it up, and the other cop was like, "No, fuck you, I'm going."
Yeah, game on.
And he chased him before. But the fact that, like, and this was, I got lucky because I had these like really great supervisors, and I had this really great squad of tightly knit dudes that were all about protecting me from my own harm. But it would have taken everything in my body. I would have left that guy with the gun. I'd been like, yo, you finish this guy up. That guy that just threw a chair, he's fucked. Like, I will chase him by myself through this entire ghetto to catch him. And I don't care if it takes me 3 weeks, but that motherfucker is going to feel the wrath of my iron fist. They just let that guy go.
Now
They
you're
were
comparing
like,
yourself to Chairman Mao.
You're like, sir, don't throw the chair. Come on, sir.
Dude, the composure from those officers, the three that are wrestling with the guy, with the firearm, to keep his arms behind his back, or at least to try and control his arms. And, even the guy punching his fucking face, and the guy that's just, literally blocking garbage cans with his fist. Yeah. Like he's fucking Thor just bashing shit with a hammer. The composure there to not go ham and mace the shit out of everybody in that crowd.
It's like, why not?
It's amazing.
Why not? Why not just fucking go game on? Let's just go
Scorched
to war.
earth?
Let's scorched earth on these motherfuckers. Everybody's getting tased. Everybody's getting sprayed. Fuck all of you.
There's
and
not
like
enough
that's another interesting point that like modern policing just somewhat ignores, right? They're all about get a community, join everybody up together. We need to be more transparent. We need to work together with it. What they don't account for is the groups of people like those 5 or 6 guys there that don't give a fuck about cops.
Care about
that are going to carry a gun, that are going to try and get the guy that has a gun that's on parole off no matter what, because it's just us versus them, and that's the lifestyle that they choose, right? It's not I need to change this person's mind. No, their mind is made up. They chose to live this way. They chose that they don't want to follow the rules that society follows. And
it's fun for
whenever
them.
their friends try to get picked up by, where else in the world are you going to throw a fucking garbage can at a cop and just have him eat it and then like walk away and be like, and tell the rest of your friends. Only in the middle of the fucking hood with some dude that's got a firearm where they're so preoccupied with their own safety trying to get this gun off, right? And then where's your mindset? Where's your fucking mindset?
Nobody gives two fucks about the guy that threw the trash can. All they care about is the one cop who blasted this dude in the face 12 times.
You want to know what happened?
I've got no problem with it.
By the police department was militarized. The second that gun was a threat and he didn't follow, bow, done.
Boom.
Threat
game
ended.
over. But you know what? He was an aspiring carpenter who didn't know his real dad.
Did you guys say this?
He was Jesus.
Did this guy? This happened in DC?
I think it was DC.
Because if it was DC and the mayor and the chief of police came out and said that's not how we operate, then 2 weeks ago, like he was talking out the other side of his mouth about why crime is rampant there. You know, you guys are keeping good cops down, like all that stuff.
I'm sorry. Did you not think that all politicians were cons? I feel like every time I say that all politicians are cons, that means it's all of them.
Man, I don't know if we can say that.
Sorry, you got bamboozled by this guy one time trying to say shit to appease everybody that's looking at him. I don't know, but maybe that's just me.
We'll see. But we should be grateful to people that are watching live right now or going to listen to the show that your rules of engagement are dictated by case law and actual laws on the book here stateside versus abroad, where rules of engagement are flexible to some degree or ever changing. And you have to have rules of engagement. It's not just a free for all. Sort of. But the idea that when people say the cops are too militarized, it's laughable because I'm like, yeah, we don't have the flexibility that you think we do when it comes to use of force. It's not that simple. So we're constantly in an ever moving target of de-escalation and escalation and the appropriate amounts of force. And it's a lot to deal with, but you can't judge it based on comparing that. We should not have rules of engagement like the military do in that same way.
All these folks that are screaming about demilitarizing the police or, talking about defunding the police, which they really mean fund the police more so they have better training, but they say defunding for whatever reason. What they fail to realize is that it's simply that there are really bad people out there. And it's like these guys that we talked about in the hood, that those guys wake up every single day just to be shitheads, right? Like they're breaking into your cars, they're raping your women, they're doing all these things. It's like the one asshole that gets on his 4-wheeler in the trailer park and he fucking goes and tears up the trailer park all day. Like that kid just woke up to be an asshole. That's what he wants to be.
Trailer park Taliban.
And you have to have people out there to stop that guy. And what I don't understand is like when you get these, like I got a friend, he's a real big like anti-police guy, and he gives me a lot of shit about being an ex-cop. And I was in a car with him one day, and somebody cut him off, and he was like, I just don't understand. Like, gee, he's just going nuts. And I'm like, see, if a cop would have seen him, he would have gotten pulled over. And wouldn't you feel better? Like, wouldn't that what you want? Instead, what you promote is just allowing people to do whatever the fuck they want. And there's no cops, there's no consequences. So, I don't know.
What else would be different for you guys? What else that you have experience with in your military backgrounds shouldn't be the same in the police world besides use of force?
What should not be the same?
Yeah, what things happen in the military, whether it's structure, training, approach, shouldn't be carried over into the police, day-to-day life.
In the military, and I know like I'm speaking kind of generally, the military isn't robots, right? But we are taught like a certain way of here's the rules, everybody follows them. There is no ifs, ands, or buts, unless you're on the SOCOM, but that's we're going in the weeds there. So like it's regimented and it's extremely strict, right? Mm-hmm. You don't want that to hinder the individual officers' ability to think for themselves and to use officer discretion in different environments. I'll give you an example. You speed on a military post and an MP pulls you over, you're getting a ticket. You sped. That's it. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. You sped. If you disagree with that MP, you're taken out of the car and you're arrested. That's it. All right. There's a rule. It's broken. You get it. Now there's a lot of troopers that are like that, like the robot-y kind of, mindset that we all make fun of them for. Right. But when you get to being like a city cop or a suburban cop and stuff like that, you need to, not every scenario is cut and dry, the cookie cutter things that the military tells you that it is, or in scenarios, and you need that individualistic mindset of what would I do? How do I assess the situation? Each individual is, their own special little butterfly. How do I talk to them and have them understand where I'm coming from, and then use my discretion to say, well, you know what? They learned their lesson. I'm going to let them go. This was a learning experience. So once again, military, not a bunch of robots, but there is a much more stricter code to following the rules there. And if there's something wrong, then you fix it and da-da-da-da. You need a little bit more leniency and free thinking in policing.
Yeah, you usually have to dial that back. I don't know. You were an FTO, right, Tansy?
Yeah.
So was I. So we had to dial that back from the academy usually, because the new recruits come out of the academy thinking street cop work is going to be pretty black and white. And then you get into it and you're like, we're having to kind of like work in these parameters here and make decisions on the fly that kind of create a resolution that's best for everyone. Like
you play in the gray every day as a police officer. Like, the laws are cut and dry, aren't they? Oh, they're so cut and dry. But the different ways you go about, like searching a car or an individual, their Fourth Amendment rights.
Yeah. Cut and dry. They're cut and dry boundaries.
Like you can, like for an example, you can catch that. You can catch that fit, and this is, you can go to the good side of town or the up and up side of town, and you can find that 15-year-old. You can find that 15-year-old who is just starting to go down the wrong path in life, and he has a little bit of weed on him, and you can give him a ticket for that weed, or you can go and call his parents, and you can really cause a hoopla with that 15-year-old, but it'll change his life for the fucking better. But you can go to the other side of town, and you can have that kid that's already been in the system, that's already fucked by the system, and if literally you giving him a ticket for the same amount of weed is really going to fuck up his rehabilitation. So now he's going to get kicked out of the program that he's in, and that's going to, get him removed from the school that he's in, and it only just exasperates the problem. So on with one gentleman, giving him a ticket for whatever that crime was can help better his life, but on the same token, a different kid. So everybody has like a different path in life, and you, as a cop, you kind of have to judge, am I going to make the world a better place? It's like speeding, right? Like you give a 16-year-old a speeding ticket, he learns his lesson, he doesn't speed anymore, versus you give that 25-year-old the same ticket, and now they freaking, they can't feed their kids, and their insurance lapses, and you just spiral things out of control. And so you have to kind of, as a cop, be empathetic to those things a good cop would be. And you have to look at each individual person. That's why discretion is so important as a cop, in my opinion.
And another thing of playing in the gray too is like, I might be on one part of town where if I see a dude in a nice car and he's driving and he's got a crack rock on him, you're going to jail, bro. You're going to jail. You got a nice car and you're doing some crack, you're going to jail. You could pay these tickets, you can pay these fines, you can pay your own lawyer. You're going to jail, you dirty little crackhead. Or I go to a different part of town where there's tons of hookers and it's dirty streets, and I pick up a hooker and she's got a crack rock on her. I go, listen, you've been chill with me today. You've been really respectful. Sometimes you go and fly off the handle. Tell me where a couple places are that are being an issue to you right now, and I'll let you go.
Yeah.
Could have made a misdemeanor arrest. Didn't.
Right.
Could have made a misdemeanor arrest. Did.
My favorite thing to do was I would pull up to my local crack, because that's all I worked with was crackheads. And I worked one street, the hardest street in Raleigh, and I worked it my whole career. It was my beat. I loved it. But I knew all the crackheads there. I knew them all by name. Yeah. And my favorite thing is like, if I knew that they had a rock, they knew the rule. If I got a crack pipe on you, or I saw you trying to smoke behind the porta potty or whatever, you had to grab two trash bags out of the back of my car, and
everyone knows you smoked in the porta potty. By
the time I do a lap, those trash bags better be full, or you're getting a ticket. And it got to the point where I could drive down Martin Street, and they would just actually wave me down, go and open the back of my Explorer, grab trash bags out, and then just go pick up trash. And I would drive around, and I'd pick the trash bags up and put it in the back of my car. Whereas if
that's actually a really good idea. That's good community policing right there. And I'm not bullshitting you or blowing smoke.
I used to do it all the time.
That's a brilliant idea. Who taught you that, or did you just learn that on your own?
Just learned on my own. I was just tired. I mean, I want to get something good out of it. I mean, I want to get something. If I write you a ticket or a citation, then I got to go to court, and it fucks everything up, and it fucks the system up. Or I can just make the neighborhood just a little bit cleaner.
Yeah.
And you know what? When I get in foot chases, those same people, if they didn't like who I was chasing through the neighborhoods, they would kind of be like,
yes.
They kind of give you the hint. That's where they went. And I had a really great rapport. And matter of fact, even after I wasn't a police officer anymore, detectives would call me and be like, yo, if we put you on the phone with so-and-so, will you tell them to just calm down? They're asking for Tanny right now. And they only want to talk to Tanny, and they don't believe that you're not a cop anymore. And I'd be like, yo, hey, Tarsha, I'm not a cop anymore.
Oh,
girl, so
Tarsha.
I can't help you out. Or, rah, rah, rest in pieces, rah, rah. I woke up the other morning and I took a deep breath and I knew that there was more oxygen in the air. I could feel myself breathing easier. And I said, man, somebody's died. And I got a phone call and one of the local gang members that I've arrested 1,000 times was fucking shot to death. And so rest in pieces, rah, rah.
I can't say
Sad
anything
to see you
negative
go.
about that.
Sad to see you go, buddy.
Man, there is definitely a caste system among crackheads, isn't there? It's like there's definitely a hierarchy.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
The lows of the lows don't wear shoes and beg on the corner in the middle of the street and lay down in front of cars. We just had a crackhead, a famous crackhead named Ricky, by the way. He got ran over by a fucking car. He was laying down in the middle of the road where he always lays down.
I don't know why you had to laugh when you told that, 'cause that's not funny at all.
It is in a minute. So
Okay.
Ricky, like he would literally lay down in the middle of the road and not hijack cars, but he would hijack like a street and not let people by. And I was like, "Give me $1, give me a fucking $1," and he wouldn't leave. And one day he's just laying down in the middle of this road, just laying down, and this nice mom in a minivan didn't see him and ran right over his head this summer. And we're just like,
Ricky.
oh, damn it.
Were the kids in the car on the way to soccer practice?
I think there was a juvenile in the car.
Oh,
Ricky,
damn it,
you
damn it,
son of a
Ricky.
bitch.
Damn it,
Dude,
Ricky.
always
Son
a
of a
pain in the
bitch,
ass.
Ricky.
Always a pain in the ass. And if a female officer ever went up to him and would be like, "Hey, Ricky, you gotta get out of the street," he'd be like, I'm just really fucking horny. I just need somebody to suck my dick. And then
That's how I get when I'm horny. Well,
Damn it, Ricky.
We had a guy and he was a younger crack dealer, and he was just a piece of shit, and he was kind of young, and he sold like 30 something cars one summer, and everybody hated it. Well, he accidentally shot himself in the throat and he was bleeding out. And we got there and I knew he was dead, like, right, like we've all seen people die, we know those looks. And so I like joked, there wasn't anybody else around, and so I started going like, "Go to the light, baby, just go to the light."
Oh no.
And then I started singing like singing "Kumbaya, my lord."
Oh, this is true. I think you're just making this shit up.
No, and so people are like, "Dude, that's so fucked up." Well, then like later on, I get a call like weeks later, and they're like, "Yo, did you hear
He's
the
alive."
news?" And I was like, "What?" And they're like, "So and so's alive." And I was like, "No, he's not." Like I watched him, like I was watching him leave this.
Are you
world.
saluting
And
right
they were
now?
like,
What's
"No,"
happening?
I was rubbing my head. And they were like, "No, dude, he's alive." And I was like, "Fuck." And I was like, "Well, whatever." But then they were like, "Dude, I wonder if he's gonna remember all that shit you were saying in that room while we were waiting on EMS." And I was like, "Oh, no, you don't think so? He didn't hear me." Now, like, dude, he could have. And so I was really scared. But then he was in a wheelchair and he had to drink through one. He had like one of those things that he talked through.
Yeah.
And so I kind of was
He's
always
like,
feeling a little bit bad about this guy. And so we
pansy.
drove up to him one day. We got a call that the dude, like, this is like months later, like a year later, that somebody was dealing out of a wheelchair. And we pull over and it's this guy and he's in the wheelchair. And so we knew he's dealing. And I just waved and I was like, "Hey, man, take that shit off the street. You got people calling that you're dealing out here. And I'm not about to like lift you out of that wheelchair and search your shit. So why don't you go?" And he's like that. But so he talked to one of those things. And so I looked around and nobody was there. And I rolled my window down and I go,
Everyone who's listening is like, what's he doing? What's happening?
I'm giving the middle finger. And so I go, "Hey, man, tell your mom not to forget to put the steak in the feeding tube." And I just drove off.
Oh my gosh.
Talk about stories of the ones you just can't
"Hey,
save.
remember that time that you shot yourself in the throat and now you talk like this?"
Oh, the crackheads. Okay, so before we talk a lot about everything, that's our hot take for an hour on demilitarizing the police, similarities and dissimilarities. But I do, as we wrap up, I do want you to give some drill instruction, if you would, Rich, to our listeners, the wolf pack. Put them in their place. And do what you do for them to encourage them to be loyal to the show.
Hold on. Do you want me to do this for you to put you in the mood? Hang on.
You want to send a free rest for me?
I know that this pisses the military off. And then let me do one of these. You see my eyes?
Oh, God, I hate you so much. I hate you so much. Like, I know you're doing a thing, but I can feel the rage in my stomach already building. All right, listen up, Wolfpack. All right. You bunch of chubby chasers, you fat malingerers. They're just sitting there fingering your fucking buttholes, watching these two scrubs, jizz bags, if you will, just spout out the mouth about a whole bunch of fucking nonsense they know nothing about. Well, they brought me here to bring a little bit of light to your fucking life. So how about you hit the like button, share and subscribe, all that fucking stupid shit those tweens and teenagers say on TikTok for this goddamn old bald guy and this young tattooed chump to the left and right of me. Get out of my fucking face.
If that doesn't motivate you to subscribe to the podcast and leave a 5-star rating and an honest review, I don't know what will.
If you don't leave a 5-star rating with in the shape of a dick,
How do you do that?
It better be 5 stars. They did great. Ball, shaft, big capital D. I want to see them.
I want to see them. Hey, where, Rich, tell everybody where you want them to watch you. Where on the interwebs? Where do you want them to see?
What's your OnlyFans?
Especially if you're hovering over 3 cops on the streets. Well, look out! Look out!
Every viral video of somebody in Buffalo, New York, in a police uniform is me. So just there's one way. There's one way you can check that out.
Slew-footing motherfuckers everywhere.
I just hope I can be lieutenant someday, so I can be in charge of the academy. Every fucking viral video is about me. You're on the right path.
You have no idea how many videos in the academy are literally
in their academy now.
I am in their academy about the social media for many reasons. But you can find me on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. Angry Cops.
OnlyFans.
Boom.
One day I'm going to take a lot of feet pics.
Only body cams.
Got nice
body cams. You can get the only body cam shirt on failuretostop.com.
I'm still, that was a good episode. I'm still picturing that robot driving down the hallway and like just being programmed like Allah Akbar, boom.
Or it's Texas, so maybe it's like a gospel song, you know.
Ain't no grave gonna hold me down.
Boom.
Boom. All right, that's Failure to Stop. We can't stop, won't stop. Guns up, giddy up. Thanks, Rich, for coming on, and we love you, and we will see you next episode.
We'll see you on the next episode.